Thank you all for joining us today. I'm Mike Mancuso from the Triangle East Chamber of Commerce, and we are here with our friends at North Carolina Department of Transportation to talk about a lot of the projects that we've got going on in our region. Specifically today, we're going to talk about the I-40 widening project and its effect in and around the 42 interchange at the Cleveland community. And then also going to get a good update on the I-540 project, which is just to our north and will have great, wonderful effects for Johnston County in the future. So gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. We're going to start off with Robert Bullock on the I-40 project. So take it away, Robert.
All right, thank you. So I just had an update on what we're doing for the I-40 project and touch base a little bit on the overall project as well as the specific area down towards the NC 42 and Cleveland Road. So the I-5011, I-4739 project is we're widening 40 from I-440 to Cornwallis Road, which is about mile marker 301 to 314. ST Wooten was awarded the contract. So the I-5111, I-4739 project, we're widening I-40 from the I-440 interchange to Cornwallis Road, which is about mile marker 301 to 314. ST Wooten started and was awarded the contract back in the summer of 2018 at a price of around $364 million. Since it was design build, they started a few months later once we started getting plans coming in. And since then, they've been working throughout the project limits, and specifically, we have shifted traffic towards the median with the new median wall, barrier wall up from mile marker 301 to 305, which is the western end of the project. So that you've seen a lot of traffic down there being on the new road on what it will have another 1.5 inches of asphalt on top. But you're close to the final pattern there with, of course, still 2 more lanes coming on the outside. From 306 to 314, we are continuing construction mainly on the outside of existing I-40, where they're continuing grade work, drainage installation, erosion control, and bridge work throughout. As part of the project, we do have 11 bridge sites, starting at I-440, where we're redoing that interchange, going all the way down to Cleveland Road. You haven't seen a whole lot of work down at the Cleveland Road interchange yet. They have done a little bit of bridge work, but clearing has started recently. The bridge down at NC 42, which has been ongoing, and anybody who drives by that area can see we're getting close to completing the first section of the diverging diamond interchange, which we will have traffic on the new outside bridge hopefully this fall. The substantial completion for the project, which is what we are calling all lanes of traffic open in the final pattern on the western part of the job from mile marker 301 to 309, which is the 70 bypass interchange, is scheduled for December of 2021. And then the remaining of the project, which again, we could have all of it open on 40 and the interchange is open sooner, but the entire project completion date is scheduled for late summer of 2022. So to highlight on some of the areas down on the eastern end with NC 42 and Cleveland Road interchange, this is the diverging diamond interchange, and these are the right-of-way hearing maps that we have in the latest ones. So you've got some color, and these are different parcels and businesses. So along NC 42 is through here. You can see that I know there's a lot of lines. but they'll have a diverging diamond crossing directions, some new loops, ramps. There is a roundabout going on this area. It ties in Technology Drive. Commerce Parkway is over here and being realigned. And there's some changes, but not as much going down up towards the Clayton area, other than we are doing some widening as well as signal interchanges. The Cleveland Road will be the bridge site. We'll be adding the new bridge just to the left on the screen of the existing one, but this will be a new full interchange for traffic to get on and out to help alleviate some of the congestion down on 42. This kind of up here is the Westview Elementary School, just to help with kind of location. And then I've got sort of an overlay on Google Earth that helps shows, you can see the existing background layout. This is at NC 42, and the green lines are sort of the rough edge of pavement, edge of shoulder, where we'll have some of the new roads going to be located. Again, this kind of shows you where a roundabout's going to be, where Technology Drive comes in, ties in, the new ramp locations, what we're doing on the northern side of 42 heading towards Clayton, and sort of the relocation of the other ramps and the impacts along the area. This is again heading back towards down 42, heading towards Fuquay to show the southern end, sort of the realignment of, I believe, this old drugstore road becoming a cul-de-sac. And this is Cleveland Road heading down, coming back around. So these are some of the new, you can tell we're widening through here along NC 42, where some of the impact in front of the businesses are taking place, mainly on this side, the right side of the screen. And there's further, when you get back close to the interchange at 42, the other businesses up here where you have, I believe, Domino's is located up here, and this is Walgreens. Different impacts here, showing you kind of how far over we're coming. You can see the edge of the green lines on both sides as we're widening 42, adding sidewalk, and updating the traffic pattern. And finally, to get up to, again, a zoomed in look with the new Cleveland Road interchange, this 40 moving along through here, the added ramps, loops that'll be coming in as we on this parcel, and same on this side, the new ramps, loops. The school entrance, this is Westview Elementary, where we come across, they'll be adding, this is essentially a service road or a long driveway for property owners over here. And what this is going to look like as we widen, and you can follow sort of the new overlay on existing right away. Again, they have started clearing through here on both sides. So I know property owners have started to see that work through that area. As we move down to the project, and Cornwallis Road is a little further up. That bridge we are not touching. We just continue to widen 40, and we will taper back down to the existing 2 lanes on both sides as we approach Cornwallis Road. So this is just a final zoom down look. You can see a little more of the impacts, what we're doing down at near Westview Elementary and the Cleveland Road area. That's all I had.
Okay. I know a couple questions that a few folks have posed to me. One was at Westview Elementary. I know there was some concern at how close that ramp was coming to the back of the school where the kids play. And I was just kind of wondering what kind of stuff are we putting in place to make sure that they remain safe?
I know there's been discussions, and I need to, if I can, we have talked about making sure we adjust and keep fencing. I believe I think we were working to add fence and replace existing fence along, I know the ball fields, we had been working in that area, and maybe along the front. There should be control access fence along the side. Let's see, I can pull up the plans on this side. And show hopefully what we have right there along the school area, because there are some noise walls that are going up in the area as well, which are shown on a different set of plans.
Yeah, and I thought that was the case on that ramp that's right behind the school. Would be the northbound, the north side ramp coming to Cleveland.
Correct. So there is so much. There, trying to figure where the noise wall starts for you. The sound barrier wall. So let's see if I can drag this over and help. So this was this is Google Earth Open. So there is a sound barrier wall. This is the existing drainage pond that is on the school, which is going to be redone as part of the project. As you can tell, if you look at some of the lines, how close we're getting. So there is a noise wall that starts. There's a light blue line down, I guess, heading south on the screen, but right around this area, so that there will be a sound wall that comes up through here. It does stop short of proceeding up all the way up the ramp. There is the of course, the standard DOT controlled access fence that runs along the highway will be coming along this area. So you'll have that 4-foot tall wire fence that moves up along all the way up the edge of the ramp, and we'll be tying in up here and be some additional, I believe, fence that goes across the front of the school.
Yeah. No other kind of barrier or guardrail to keep anybody, or is there a gradient there where the ground is higher than the ramp area that kind of protects from people running in there?
So at this time, there's some drainage work going on in this area. Hopefully you can see the plan sheets now.
Yep.
So there is some drainage work in here, so you will have a gradient through there.
Okay.
Some other ditch work. I guess this helps a little bit. The solid line when you see the RWs and these triangles and circles, that's the fence.
Okay.
That we're referring to. So you do have some good distance in between the ramp and that fence.
Good.
Traffic, you still have some significant distance from where the ramp and that fence is, and the schools, of course, can be a little further away.
Good. That's a great illustration. I think that'll help answer some folks' questions. I think the biggest thing that I continue to hear from our members along the 42 corridor is that widening in front of the businesses. Can we go back to that for just a minute and maybe get into a little more detail on that part of the project and the timing and how we're going to be managing that to help those folks continue to keep their businesses running? So
this is a critical area for everyone. We know there's a lot of impact going on 42 to the businesses. There's some of the right-of-way work is continuing to go. We have not completed all the right-of-way through this area, as we are trying to do everything possible to maintain businesses the access that they want, keep them open and viable in their current conditions, but there are a lot of changes going on due to the widening. So I know on the side here shown, you can tell there is significant parking areas that are changing. You can see from the overlay where we've got lines going right through existing parking spots. So there is a lot of that is being impacted due to the widening, because you're going to have additional lanes going right through the grass area. So this side's being affected the most. There's a lot of right turns in and right turns out that are going to be occurring on both sides due to the concrete median. We're putting down the middle. So there is going to be significant impacts. I don't know that any of these businesses are going to have to. We will maintain access, of course, through the life of the project for all of the businesses going on through here. That's standard. We don't want to impact them any more than we have to. But as construction starts, that's what we're going to see. And there will be additional the Virgin Diamond that comes in. There'll be additional signals up here that can help control the flow of traffic throughout the length of the corridor. So that's going to help with the traffic pattern. But again, that's going to cause the right-ins and right-outs. So I know some of the businesses may have to end up, unfortunately, relocating, but we aren't tearing down any of the buildings through here due to the project. The biggest issue is going to be there is significant parking loss, but the right-of-way agents and division staff is working to help minimize the impacts as best we can.
What's the timing for the start of this part of the construction to the end? Is this something for, I would assume, decked up next year, or can you give me a ballpark kind of start end?
Well, I mean, they'd like to get started this fall. They'd like to get started a little bit sooner. Again, since we are trying to do the best we can with businesses, maintaining the area and minimizing the impacts, some of the right-of-way negotiations are taking a little more time. Then, of course, there is significant utilities that are going to have to be relocated through here. So those are kind of a coordination effort as we work with businesses and right-of-way negotiations to get through that. Then utilities come back, start moving. So hopefully we'll see some utility work start this fall. And as soon as the utility work starts, you'll start seeing significant work in this area right behind it. A large majority of this, they want to start working here more on the traffic shifts onto the bridge. So hopefully first thing that you would see as you start seeing more is that they want to get this outside bridge, which to us is the right side bridge, to get traffic on it in this fall, which means you'll see a different pattern leading up to it, and that starts to free up the other side of the work, the other bridge. So that's where we hope to be. And then this area, they start working back this way. And I know that we would like to get down to in Cleveland Road area through here, and because you've got widening that goes on around the CVS and Walgreens, and this is another part of Cleveland Road interchange that ties in, because we need to get traffic to start working down Cleveland Road up here to continue work at the interchange.
Okay. And I know also had a question, as you move towards Fuquay to the left of this picture, how far is this widening project going to go in this phase? I know you'd mentioned something about Old Pharmacy Road.
Right. So, Old Drugstore Road down here.
Road, yes.
I guess this Old Drugstore Road is where we're ending up. So that's the extent of our widening. Okay. So that at that intersection is really the end of that project then? Yes. For now. This drive to, we're going to be overlaying some additional work down through here, and we'll have I think there's a gourd island that we put in concrete as to improve this intersection. But yes, this Old Drugstore Road intersection is where the project essentially ends. Okay. So I would assume the widening project for 42, which is from 50 on through the other side, which I think is slated for 2025, would cover further down then? Yes. Okay. All right. Well, very good. So it sounds like, for the most part, this widening is going to start in the fall, work through winter into probably mid-year next year? Yes. The overall, this work in the whole area for Cleveland Road and NC 42 will carry on through at least summer of 2022. I mean, this would be the completion of these two areas, not necessarily open the final traffic pattern, but just completely done. Because we do have some retaining walls, small retaining walls that go in front of some of these businesses. The roundabout back here, those type of things are going to be some of the last work they get into to completely finish the area. So that you will see construction in this area through at least summer of 2022.
22. Okay, very good. All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate that update on the I-40 and 42 interchanges. And now we're going to go to Robbie and talk about the I-540 project and how we're doing there.
Yes, going to give Robert just a minute to get his screen off. All right. So we're going to talk about the complete 540 project phase 1, which is the current phase that we are in. This is an extension to the Triangle Expressway Southeast extension. This is a North Carolina Turnpike Authority project that is being conducted with both the NCDOT and Turnpike participation. This will be an extension of the existing toll road that is currently on the south side and southwest side of Raleigh. So as I mentioned, we're in phase 1 of construction. Phase 1 consists of 3 projects, R2721A, which picks up at NC 55 where the existing Triangle Expressway ends. It carries on to just east of Pierce Olive Road, at which point the R2721B project picks up. And that project carries on to just east of US 401 in South Raleigh near Wake Tech University's South Campus. And then finally the R2828 project, which will pick up from that point and carry on to tie in with the I-40 project at US 70 bypass. Just to note on this screen that you're seeing now, the numbers in the circles along the alignment are the interchanges for this project. So there will be 7 interchanges where the traveling public can get on and off. So as I mentioned, we're going to talk about the A project real quick. That runs from 55 to just east of Pierce Olive. That project was awarded to Flatiron Branch Civil, a joint venture with Gannett Fleming as their lead designer on July 22nd of 2019. At that point is when the design process began. Construction did not begin until a little later in November of 2019. So this is 4.3 miles. It's a contract value of $183.5 million. And we are almost complete with settling all the right-of-way parcels on this project and have most of the plans ready to go. Now moving on to the 2721B project. This project was also awarded to Flatiron Branch Civil, a joint venture. This project has HDR as the lead designer, and it was awarded on March 15th of 2019 and began at the same time from a construction standpoint as the 2721 project. Again, this one runs from just east of Pierce Olive Road to just east of US 401. It is 4.9 miles in length, $160 million contract value. And again, we have most of the right-of-way settled and are getting very close to having all the plans ready for construction. Lastly, I want to move on to the R2828 project. This is the project that's probably is of most importance to the people that will be in the Cleveland area. This project was awarded to Lane Blythe Construction joint venture with WSP as the lead designer. It was awarded in December 17th of 2018 and also began in November of 2019. This project runs from just east of US 401 and ties in at I-40 at exit 309, which is the US 70 bypass. 8.6 miles in length, $403.2 million construction value, about 90%, maybe a little bit more on the right-of-way parcels that are now settled. And as you can see, the plans are about 93% complete, so they're getting very close with that as well. Now, we wanted to take a little bit of time to dive into the R2828 design plans. So this is the cover sheet or the corridor for R2828. As you can see, our final configuration will include 3 direct travel lanes in each direction with full outside and median shoulders and a divided median in the middle. The roadway for this portion will be made up of Portland cement concrete paving, and the shoulders will be roller compacted concrete, very similar to existing portions of NC 540. Moving down from where we pick up just east of 401, so 401 will be on the left side. This is the interchange at Old Stage Road, so will consist of some ramps and loops. Currently at this location, we're still performing some utility relocation work. You've probably seen some clearing in this area, and Colonial Pipeline is currently working in this area. Moving down the alignment to the east, we've come upon the Benson Road interchange, NC50. This interchange will consist of 2 ramps and 2 loops, and 540 will go under Benson Road. In this area, we are also very close on acquiring all the right-of-way. We have extensive utility relocation that will need to be performed here, and then we will begin to put a detour just to the west of existing NC50 to allow us to begin work on this bridge and the new roadway here. You may see some of the roadway activities on Benson Road taking place sometime later this year. We'll definitely see more work first of next year. Wanted to take a quick moment to let you know that if you've seen public hearing maps for this area, you likely saw that to the east of Benson Road, there was proposed to be a ramp for getting on to NC 540 heading east. This ramp was redesigned by the team that won the project, and they turned it into the loop here, which eliminated the need for some of the additional right-of-way in this area and just made the interchange as a whole a little more functional. Moving down from Benson Road, which you'll see in the bottom left corner, NC50, you can see that we continue the alignment up. We'll have 2 bridges over some streams and over Swift Creek, and we will continue down towards the I-40 interchange that we refer to as the turbine interchange. So here's a look of what we refer to as the turbine interchange at I-40. This is a visualization of what it will look like at the end. As you can see, there's multiple bridge structures that go over Interstate 40 and that also are part of this turbine interchange. This interchange allows for traffic to flow at full speed. So you don't have to have a lot of the braking and acceleration that you normally would on a standard interchange. So most of the movements from 70 bypass, I-40 and 540 will be able to be maintained at full speed. We'll go through a little more of the details here. This is just another quick view of I-40, 540, and Business 70. Business 70 is coming in from the lower right-hand corner, 70 bypass from the lower right-hand corner of the screen. Just wanted to give you a couple of details about this. We are eliminating the existing bridges for those of you that travel down 70 bypass to get on and off of I-40. Those bridges that go over I-40 will go away throughout the course of this project to move traffic onto the turbine. We've increased the bridge and shoulder widths to accommodate for maintenance of traffic and to make it better for the amount of trucks that we're seeing or anticipate using this movement. We are designing the bridges with a future 12-foot lane on some of the movement here to get on and off of 70 bypass for future growth in the area. And we have combined the ramps coming off of 540 East and getting on to 40 East to reduce impacts and construction costs. This screen just kind of shows, again, there's some differences from the public hearing maps that some of you may have seen on DOT's website and on the Turnpike's website. The green movements here are some of those that are going away. Again, we mentioned the 70 bridges over I-40 are going away. We did eliminate some of these loop movements, again, to make sure that traffic could flow at a higher rate of speed and to eliminate some of the congestion here in this area. And then this final screen just kind of ties in where we have 540 coming through, 40, and 70 bypass in the lower right corner. Just to give you a quick update on some of the current construction activities you may have seen in the area. This is the location at Benson Road, NC50. This is looking east over top of Benson Road, and you can see that we've done a substantial amount of clearing. You can see that there's still some utilities in the way, and that we're starting to make the movement east towards I-40 and towards Swift Creek. This view here shows you some of our preliminary bridge work and grading and drainage that we are doing currently at the I-40 location. I mentioned that there's several bridges with this interchange. You can see there are a substantial amount of piles being driven that you've probably seen sticking up out of the ground. We have completed the construction for most of the interior bridges that will go over I-40. And we are working on the outside shoulder construction for the bridges there. You will likely begin to see some girders being set at night over I-40 in this location later this winter and into the early spring of next year. So that just gives you a brief update of some of the activities going on now that you've probably seen as you're traveling through this area around the 70 bypass. Just wanted to give a quick snapshot again of the entire project so you can see, and also wanted to note in this one, you'll notice R2829. That is phase 2. It is currently on the state's STIP fiscal year to receive funding in 2029. The North Carolina Turnpike Authority is working to accelerate that project. This portion of the project is a little over 8 miles long and will complete the outer loop of the greater Raleigh area. So this is the last phase and should begin sometime around 2029, but they are working to accelerate it. If you have any questions about where you can go to view anything about NC 540, if you go to ncdot.gov/540 map, you can see some of the maps for 540. Wanted to let you know that this is a toll road. NC Quick Passes are available for this road. It will end up linking with multiple toll facilities up and down the East Coast. Finally, specifically for 540, if there are any questions or concerns, you can go to ncdot.gov/complete 540, ncdot.gov/turnpike. You can email us at complete540@ncdot.gov or call our hotline at 1-800-554-7849. We're also on Twitter at the NC Turnpike and at NC_QuickPass. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Can we go back for a second? I'm really intrigued by the high-speed interchange that you've created at 540 and 40 and 70, which is a pain point for most folks that live in Johnston County trying to get to Raleigh in the morning. Can you explain? You indicated that for the most part, you don't have to slow down as you go through this interchange anymore, or you won't have to.
Yeah, part of the emphasis that we placed and the challenge that we placed on the design build team was to make sure that this interchange would alleviate some of that congestion and concern. So this is a very unique interchange that you won't see in many other places in North Carolina. Coming off of the 70 bypass, as you can see, there's a large ramp that'll come. You'll be able to go around this. The radiuses of this interchange allow you to maintain the 70-mile-an-hour speed limit. So you can get off and go on 40 westbound back towards Raleigh, or you can follow around the interchange and get off to go towards the coast or 40 east. Again, with traffic coming from 40, they'll be able to get off and go around the turbine. It's just by putting in such a large radius of area, it allows you to maintain safe speeds, multiple lanes on the interchange. So it'll allow you just to maintain the travel speeds of 40, 540, and 70 bypass at any point in the interchange. There is some future plans to make the movement from going 40 west onto 540 west. As you can see, that's the only current loop that we have in this interchange. There will be future plans at some point to try to make that movement a little better as we approach the construction of our 2829.
Very good. Well, I'm sure most of our commuters heading into Raleigh in the morning are going to definitely appreciate this as this is built. Also, from a travel time perspective for Johnson County, I would assume that the 540 part of this project going east or west is going to really improve travel times to get up to the other part of the triangle. Yes.
So the main goal of this is to make the connectivity for all parts of the southeastern portions of the greater Raleigh area better. So instead of going through Raleigh and the multiple connections with 440 and others as you're traveling through Raleigh and through RTP, this will allow you to go around those areas. It makes connectivity to the RDU airport much faster. I think ultimately we're hoping for savings in the 10 to 15 minute range in terms of driving along 40 versus taking 540 around. The speed limit posted for 540 will be slightly higher than I-40. So overall, it should make movements a lot better and should cut down on travel times. It should definitely be worth the minimal cost that the toll facility is.
Very good. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for this update. Very helpful. I want to make sure we get this information to all the citizens in the county and especially our businesses. I want to thank Marty for putting this together for us from the communications group. And Dennis, thank you for being with us today from the Turnpike group. We appreciate all of your work in helping us alleviate that congestion. And I look forward to my trip to the airport being 15 minutes shorter in the future. So thank you so much. Appreciate the time today. Any final words, Marty? No? All right. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate that very much. And we'll be checking back in with you as these projects continue.